All right. Good evening, brothers, sisters, and gender norm resistors. It's time for some more Pirates of the Geek Vortex. So let's jump on in and see who all's here. Hello there. Dayton, are you gonna say anything?
I said hello. I forgot to unmute my mic in OBS.
Well, that would be a bit of a problem.
Look, I was already in general chat instead of pirates, all right? We already know that tonight's going to be a fuckery.
Yeah.
How's your week been?
It's been all right. Besides, Wednesday night, not getting to sleep until about 9 o'clock Thursday morning. That was fun.
Well, why'd you do that?
I didn't choose to. My body was just like, nah, we're not ready for sleep yet.
Okay, I see. Your brain held you at gunpoint?
It does that when the weather gets warm. And
yeah,
when,
I know, mine does too.
Thursday, it was up into the 80s, if not the 90s, so... Yeah, my body's
I
like...
meant to stream on Tuesday, and then I started coughing so bad I was, like, literally cracking my shoulders. I was like, yeah, let's not. So props to Julie for calling leverage last week.
Yeah. I was gonna say, it's like, yeah, with the way you were describing things, it's like, yeah, probably not a good day. Probably not a good day to do that.
Yeah. Now I'm irritated because we decided to relaunch the D&D campaign, and I can't find my goddamn notes for it, even though I've been tripping on them all week.
See, that's the thing that gets me. It's like, you say, oh, well, I don't do much with, I don't do anything with tabletop. It's like, but you're hosting a leverage tabletop and running a D&D tabletop.
I mean, like, classical tabletop. And also, I don't really do much anyways, because I only host the leverage game and play it, and we both know I don't do much in leverage anyways. I kind of sit back and let you guys do your thing. And then the D&D, I literally have never played D&D, still haven't played D&D, and I'd never DM'd before this campaign. So I am making shit up as I go.
As you do. I mean, that's kind of what
the point.
Yeah, that's kind of that's kind of how everything's just done.
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out what I did to my OBS and my Streamlabs, because I tried to set Streamlabs up to stream to Twitch, and it copied all my OBS settings, and then OBS decided, nope, fuck you, I'm deleting everything. And now every time I try to stream on OBS, it gives me an error, and then like gives me 6 duplicate streams that I tried to make. So
that's bizarre.
Yeah, so now I've unlinked and relinked my YouTube account like 3 times, and it didn't seem to make any difference. So I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to unlink it and then use a stream code to see if that fixes anything.
I could see that, yeah. I mean, usually the stream code for YouTube doesn't change unless you tell it to.
Yeah, but I got to go and find it wherever the hell it is again.
It should be when you open up to like schedule a stream, it should have it there. Yeah, it should be under your stream settings. Yeah, stream key. Yeah, it'll be under your stream settings, and then you can just copy the stream key and paste it into your encoding software, and you're good to go.
We hope.
Well, that's how it's supposed to work. That's how it works.
Yeah. And then we gotta try Streamlabs again to make sure that it actually connected to Twitch properly, because I tried that last Tuesday, and hit stream, and that gave me a blank error. And then everybody who clicked the link was like, hey, the stream's really quiet. Are you supposed to be streaming right now? Because we're just got a black screen. Okay, it is.
So I'm assuming others are going to be here. I'm not sure what's going on with Raz. He said he was
indisposed.
Yeah, well, he was gonna be. He's planning on being here, but he's at the ER with a friend. So that's
What?
Oh. Okay, hang on here. Nightkind is still in the.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. What about? Oh no, she's still in general, but you cannot see the stream.
Well, she can't hear or see us because she's in a different voice channel.
Well, it's because she said she followed the link Rasclin gave her, so I assume she's also watching the stream. But I am getting streamed just fine.
All right. Yeah, because I don't want to start setting up our cameras into the spot,
right?
And like, yeah. Here, try that one. I mean, we are chatting in the Pirates Crew channel, so it's like everybody that's in that channel should have an invite to the voice channel as well. They should already have permission to get in there.
Well, yeah, she's normally here. That's what I'm saying. Is I have no idea why we all went to general tonight.
Don't know either. Oh, yeah. I've been the Mass Effect Andromeda is turning into an even more bizarre and interesting game. I've found out about the mysterious benefactor. Oh, there we go.
Hey, she made it. There she is.
Okay.
Hi.
We can see her. Now the question is,
can we hear it?
No, we cannot hear.
Nope. No sound.
Don't see her being. Yeah, I don't see anything as far as like her voice being muted.
No, it's her mic. It does this every now and then.
Ah, okay. I was wondering. I'm like,
yeah, I don't know if it's like a bad cable or what.
I could see that.
Oh, so Nox is here. She's just lurking.
Okay. All right. Let me first that way. Wait, no. Not that one. Okay. Get things started.
Yeah, I was about to say, don't expect me to start on the topic. This wasn't my topic.
Yeah, I know. This was
He's like the
Rasclin's
gaming
turn.
controversies. I'm like, I haven't been paying attention. What controversies?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's been a few as far as tabletop gaming in particular.
Did she freeze entirely?
Possibly?
I mean, either that or she is damn good at the statue game, because she's been like that for about 5 minutes now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like, oh, there she goes.
I'm sorry, Nightkind. I didn't mean to be mean.
Depending on what she needed to restart, it may have been, it may have been just restart everything.
Yeah.
So how has your Oblivion been going?
When I played it, it's been going fine. The only issue I ran into was last time, before I got sick. The last time I played Oblivion, I went from Cheydinhal to try to go to Skingrad to go to the Dark Brotherhood party, and got stuck in an infinite loading screen.
Oh, I've hit that once or twice. That's
Yeah,
fun.
so we spent the entire stream on yesterday. I think I streamed twice. We spent the entire last stream just sitting there like, we are fearing loading screens. Please don't freeze on us.
Yeah, it doesn't happen too often, but I mean, there is a good reason for the loading screens.
Oh yeah, it's just, you see it freeze and it's just like, oh shit.
But yeah, it's...
I am loving Blueprints though. That's a nice chill game.
I don't know, that one, I've seen a little bit here and there of that game, and I'm just like, I don't know. It's just one of those things where it just didn't really
Yeah, it's
jump for me.
like I said, it's good for chilling, and it's good for like if you just have a stream where you want to talk or just hang out. But it's definitely not like an exciting action game. It's not gonna keep anyone on the edge of their seats.
Yeah.
Okay. We have motion, we still don't have sound. I'm gonna send this woman my headset, I swear. That's why I love this thing. Ever since I got it, I have never had to replace it.
Yeah, the Elgato one that I got it behaves very well. Like,
Yeah.
I've not had any problems with it. The other one, like the connector, finally just started crapping out on me. So I'm just like, you could still hear me, but it was like every now and then there'd be like this constant low buzz, and I'm just like that.
Yeah.
That, and of course, I couldn't hear it myself, so I'm just like, what,
Is that an
it's-
XLR or
I'm just like, okay, will somebody tell me when that I have a problem, or are you guys just gonna like? And nobody told me nobody would tell me that there was a problem, so it's just like, oh, okay. Do we have a Rasclin?
Indeed.
And a
we have his
Rasclin?
fan at least?
They just had to angle things properly.
We have a Doge. I like the Doge better.
All right, so we can say you.
No offense, my friend, but you will never be as cute.
All
It's
right.
true.
All right, so let me get this up here. Okay, so that's properly placed. Good.
Okay, so you've reset everything. You plugged everything back in. What normally fixes this? Because I know we have this almost every time you're in stream. Have you tried letting a dog piss on it? Make sure it's one of the ones you don't like. We do not hate you. If we hated you, we would have told you to leave or treated you like, never mind. Trying to be nice. I'm trying to be a better person.
Trying to be.
So yeah, nowadays at the ER, they throw this on you if you're not the actual person being treated.
Okay.
It's certainly pink.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like, wow, that is a very pink thing.
Very pink hall pass.
Essentially, yeah.
This
Because it's a rectangle.
All right, so we have everybody up. We just don't have any sound from Nightkind for some reason. And I'm just
Oh, we could be really ghetto and we could just have Nightkind call Rask and Rask put it on speaker.
No.
I mean, we did that on radio once, and I actually just did the phone up to the mic. It might have been this same mic. Wet goes through a lot of parts. And then resells them.
I'm a firm believer in use what you got.
Use what you got as long as it works. I mean, that's the thing with a radio station like that. It's like, you know, you can go till it works, but occasionally it's just gonna hit you're gonna hit a wall where it's like, hey, yeah, this is no longer working.
Okay.
And
Round 4.
I think it's only round 3.
No, it's round 4. Round 1, she was in general, and we actually had sound.
That's real strange.
Discord has been kind of stupid.
Everything's been kind of stupid.
I mean, yes.
Okay, so yeah, the volume's up. Everything's done.
Yep, she's not muted, so...
Huh.
Quick, Nightkind, send a duck.
A duck? Why a duck?
You'll see.
Okay.
A duck.
The alternative is a room with a moose.
If I felt like paying with Nitro, I could use the other servers I'm in to summon Moogles.
Oh gods. Don't we deal with enough of them in FF14? They handle our mail.
Which Moogle sound do you think it is?
Kapow! Or that theme song that goes on when you murder the giant Moogle king.
Good King Muggle Mugger, good King Mug.
Oh, Japan, never change.
I love the fact that that song tells you how to beat the boss, but you can't understand it because you're too busy dodging.
It's the same as exponential entropy tells you how to beat that boss. But I have a story for you all, because what is our topic tonight?
My teeth?
Indeed.
Okay,
I'm sorry, you did see travesties.
Olaf, do you remember a guy who came out to the club scene back in the day 20-something years ago named Jason Burrows?
Why does that name sound familiar?
No.
Shaved bald head, beard, did a lot of drawing.
I I might have met him, but I don't remember him.
Fair. He was known for doing a lot of work on series like The Walking Dead, Crossed, and he lived right here in Champaign.
That's
Okay.
why he sounds familiar.
He was also an artist for TSR during the 90s.
Ah.
They didn't pay him for most of his work.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's I'm pretty sure that's
Not
not
illegal?
kosher.
It's not. A lot of people got stiffed by various gaming companies, usually because the gaming companies didn't have money. But oftentimes, in cases like TSR just screwed people over towards the end of their effective life, right before getting bought out by Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah.
Wizards of the Coast bought out, I want to say they bought out everything in 1996, and then they got bought out by Hasbro in 2000.
And of course now they're just like, oh no, we're not using we're totally not using the we're totally not using AI to do our stuff, while totally using AI to make all their stuff.
I lost track of the number of times they swore they will never use AI again and keep getting caught.
Yeah, at this point it's like, guys, just do it. Just own it and fucking be done with it.
Yeah, it's like you're now not only known as using AI, but also lying.
I mean, at this point, just say, hey, we're a mega billion corporation. Fuck yourself. We still won't like you, but we'd at least pretend that we have more respect for you.
There are reasons why I haven't bought anything from Wizards in the past few years that isn't, the bulk of the money going to another party. Dragonlance novels from Waste and Hickman directly at Gen Con. Finally picked Rook. Okay, now I kind of see you waving, but I cannot hear you.
I see the clapping.
Okay, we have got to find a way to fix your sound, because I want to
I'm
know what
sorry,
you're
my
saying.
lip reading is horrible, otherwise I'd translate.
Also, the camera dropping frames probably makes it very difficult to lip read.
That depends on which camera that I'm looking at.
But I finally picked up Baldur's Gate 3 because, one, it was on sale, and two, Larian gets most of that money.
Yeah.
And I'm probably
And 3, because you wanted to see the troll fucking scene.
Well, now I do!
I'm mad that I missed the first playthrough.
Wait, was it a
Considering
troll
you
or was it an
eventually-
ogre?
It was both. No,
It was a
it was an
bugbear.
ogre and a bugbear.
Yeah.
Yeah, bugbear and an ogre.
Eventually, if you do it right, you can have a bear fucking a mind flayer.
I did, actually.
Yep, why am I not surprised?
Okay, so
Ursine
technically,
on...
I'm only half Ithalid.
They did things with half human, half illithids back in second at Ravenloft,
Okay,
and
so
USB cord. I see a USB cord.
Pull the USB
Wait,
cord.
I see a mute symbol.
Yeah. Okay, so replugged in the USB for your mic. Okay. You still have you still
I think
have
you can-
yourself muted on Discord. Okay. And no, we
Damn it.
cannot hear you now. I could read that. I know what that looks like when somebody's saying it. So I'm like, no, we can't hear you now, which just makes it sound like I'm responding to you by hearing you, which probably
No,
is
it's really
fake.
just secret brainwashing by Verizon.
Then it has failed miserably because I've never had Verizon.
I didn't say it was brainwashing to buy Verizon. It's just brainwashing that we know what Can You Hear Me Now looks like.
Oh, cultural zeitgeist.
Hey, at least the Verizon guy didn't end up going down the Jared route. Yeah, that route.
Oh crap, we just went in. Everyone stick to the plan.
Okay, that's...
I remember running UBRS during vanilla.
Oh, by the way, Rask, have you been keeping up with the Discord for the D&D campaign?
Bits of it. It's been kind of a hectic day. What happened today?
Not today. It was the last time we streamed. My players have decided that they're going to agree to weird shit, like liches that follow older rules because they're so ancient,
Like
or the fact that.
Does this mean you bring back the second edition rule of liches have to sacrifice a human once every 100 years and roll System Shock based on their existing Constitution score?
It also means that they can cast several spells in unison without having any worries about concentration.
I still have my copy of Van Richten's Guide to the Lich.
Yes, I was hoping you did. But also, they agreed that, yes, both they and creatures will be able to cast weird shit like Mage Hand in someone's lungs.
If a Dragonborn becomes a werewolf...
We're also discussing a Dragonborn Goliath. We just don't know what class he wants to play.
If a Dragonborn becomes a were-dragon, and that's a thing.
Oh, I know.
Forgotten Realms gave us were-dragons, were-spiders.
He wants to have... Okay, you'll know why it's funny. He wants to have a strong connection to his ancestors and basically be a Dragonborn genealogist. In the campaign that you and I wrote.
Right. Okay, there's got to be a way. We have to figure out if it's the mic, if it's Discord.
Well,
The
apparently...
last time this happened, she said it was probably the cord, but she's already plugged it back in. It's not the physical violence, apparently.
Cord is new. Okay.
Okay, cord is new. Obviously, the computer isn't into impact play. Have you tried dirty talking it?
Only the computer can hear her sweet nothings now.
I don't think praying's gonna work.
Toys of
Oh yeah,
time
the
kitchen.
Catholic's definitely not gonna work. Remember, Jesus hates computers. They're an evil Satan machine. They infect you with homos.
Disconnecting, reconnecting might help.
Possibly. All
We
right.
hope.
Here we go.
Why the hell am I half in your bedroom? Stop that.
Okay, let's try it now.
Nope,
Still
still not.
nothing.
I'm waiting for the time she connects. We finally get sound, and she's just screaming as loud as
It'll be all dogs. Oops, all dogs.
So would you like to introduce a part of your topic?
Well, he did.
All right. So, scandals go. What are some of the other ones? So I'm going to go with a recent one. How's everyone's familiarity with Maori tattoos?
Oh, the Maori tattoos? Pretty decent.
So White Wolf decided to use one on a fictional character.
I think I remember this one.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, they were trying to showcase what they thought was diversity, but they didn't really look into the no-nos and taboos regarding it.
Yeah, the problem with including diversity is that you have to know what the diversity is.
That's usually a good thing, a good idea, yeah.
Well, they wanted to add the Maori tattoos. The problem is they didn't realize that the Maori tattoos are rites of passage and are given for certain achievements, not just slapped on a motherfucker.
Okay.
So, you know, kind of like every time we show natives in media and we show them with a full war bonnet, forgetting that war bonnets were reserved for very specific situations.
And were reserved mostly for southwestern tribes, so why do they keep putting one on the Lion-Iwek?
Mm-hmm. Or the fact that Disney's Pocahontas and Tiger Lily have both apparently killed a man and scalped him.
Which, don't get me wrong, I'm down.
Yeah, but, you know, research what you're putting on them.
Let's see if we can't get things sized up here.
And that was one of White Wolf's recent interesting things. Their other one... So there's been a few things, from words escaping from the studio to the split up of White Wolf into multiple different companies to pissing off a lot of players by going into what I would have to call... How do I put this? They eliminated one of the major camps of the game. Nightkind, you are exuding sound.
I see input, at least.
I see something.
Yes.
I see constant input. Hello? What? What?
So yeah, the Discord is saying that you are broadcasting something, but it's not letting us hear it, which is confusing.
Wait.
Yeah, because now it seems like it's constantly picking it up, so it's just overloaded the channel.
Right. Hold on. Check your voice input. What's it set to currently? Okay. Because I thought if you went back and forth on something, that might trigger it, even if it's currently on the correct input. Kind of like when we hang up and dial back into a Discord call, just to make it work again.
Maybe I should get Nightkind OBS and teach her how we do this. Because I haven't been running through my mic for a couple days now. I've been running through a virtual cable.
Yeah. You've finally learned how to use virtual inputs?
Oh no, I knew how to. It was just I didn't have any that I trusted.
Ah.
So finally I just said, fuck it, grabbed a virtual cable and then put a bunch of filters on.
Yeah,
I'm basically on the most bare bones system you could ever imagine.
Well, I mean, this isn't like super fancy or anything. It's let me see here. I'm running it through the virtual cable, and then I've got noise suppression, a 3-band equalizer, an expander, a compressor, and a limiter.
I have a microphone that goes through an ampy thing that connects via a USB.
Yeah, thankfully I don't have to do preamp. Mine's not a XLR.
Okay, yes, mine is an XLR.
Yeah.
Some days I wish I had an XLR. Wait,
Okay,
what was that?
Sound. We did hear it.
We heard a
Also,
squeak.
yes, I thought too, but Yes, we heard something.
Okay.
Huh.
The constant input has gone now.
Yeah, because I think she just pulled out the
Yeah,
cable from
so-
the actual mic itself. So
She
okay.
has the same thing I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to replace that the first time, but she just said the cable's new. Okay, and we're back to constant input now.
Yeah.
Perhaps we can do hand-drawn signs. Wait.
We need a whiteboard and a dry erase marker. Yeah, see? Oh no, he's going old school with the notebook.
Caden, you are not allowed to just write "I smell toast" over and over again. That's my job.
Wait, hold on. I gotta get into my white hipster girl moment.
Wait, what? I couldn't even tell what that said.
It says...
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm down.
Yes, fuck Discord.
No?
That's how I keep notes when I'm
we heard
writing
you.
blueprints.
Now we've got you.
Okay.
Yay!
Sound is on. Excellent.
All I had to do was threaten Discord.
That's it. That's it.
I like this idea. Who doesn't like threatening Discord?
Presumably Discord.
Well, I was going to threaten that one of my dogs was going to shit on it.
I mean, I already said have one of them piss on it.
And like I said, that little bugger pisses on everything.
Hello, and
So,
welcome to the world of the unliving.
My
speaking
camera
of which,
right?
What'd you say?
My camera is sending at a low frame rate. This may be caused by high system load.
Yeah, that's
that's
fine.
why. That's it. That's why your sound wouldn't load. You had a high frame rate earlier. It sacrificed the frame rate to do the sound. I'd say keep it as it is then, because you're better off with the sound. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna
I
teach her
think-
OBS.
Discord can only work. It's your ISP. Your ISP is the problem. It's not even Discord. We can't blame them tonight.
Oh yeah, we
And
can.
your ISP out there sucks, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Who's
Okay.
your ISP?
All right, so we managed. See, we just gotta fiddle with things. Like the
So-
number.
You know,
I really love how dumbass of a brother dumbass my brother is.
Say again, Nikon.
I'm so sorry, you guys. It's
It's fine. It gave,
I say
we had
dumbass,
a
my
moment.
Canadian appears.
We had a fun moment getting it on, and I'm going to bring a visual aid for this next bit.
If it's a condom, I'm gonna be very upset.
You are not the visual aid.
No, she's the show.
I mean, yes, but we don't have to be so blatant about it.
I'm kind of surprised. We actually have everybody here. For the
I
first
said I
time.
was gonna come. I don't know if you guys noticed in the Pirates chat.
I don't think
was just
anybody
cleaning my
pays
kitchen.
attention when you say you're gonna come.
Okay.
We also heard you say you didn't think you would have much to contribute.
Smart ass.
Yeah.
So it only takes
I was
about
cleaning-
40, only takes about 45 minutes for us all to be here and actually able to
I was
contribute.
cleaning my kitchen, Caden, and not from cum, you asshole.
Well, then you're just
The
not
fact that you had to
trying hard enough.
specify not from come, that just means you don't have any fun.
where
Not
did
in my
Kate
kitchen,
go?
I don't.
There he is.
The kitchen's the third best place to fuck.
Okay. All right.
Caden is totally abusing the setup of the cyberpunk overlay.
No, I'm not. Not.
Yes, you are. You are like that corner that you're slouching in is like the one part that's cut off by the overlay, and you're just kind of like, nope, nope, can't see me.
That's how I normally sit. Okay, here. We'll get into my streaming position. Are you better?
That's better. That's
Oh shit!
What's wrong?
Trying to get Ludi. Trying to get Ludi up.
I saw a tail up there.
So, one of the great scandals for Vampire the Masquerade was the complete non-inclusion or playability of Sabbat PCs.
Well, you're talking recent or their history of.
So, Sabbat as player characters had been introduced back in 1992 or 1993 with the Player's Handbook to the Sabbat. With the Sabbat came the fact that you were playing characters who had a 0 humanity rating. So, they came up with what was known as Paths of Enlightenment, deranged codes of ethics and honor that no sane person would use. But if you're a vampire who's out late night just assaulting people and drinking their blood, sure.
Especially if you're Malacavian.
You know, I would see more Sabbat Malkavians on humanity, weirdly enough. But so with 5th edition, every bloodline that had been in the Sabbat was now playable outside the Sabbat. But you could no longer play anyone on a Path of Enlightenment, and Sabbat were deliberately noted as not playable, period. So Paths of Enlightenment were examined, but not in the same mechanical way that they were.
Okay.
But this meant that a faction that had been played for over 25 years in game was suddenly just no longer playable.
Well, I remember one of their controversies with that White Wolf had, as far as what was the Underworld series? I think it was.
Oh, the everyone's ripping everyone off?
No, the fact that they tried to sue because Underworld was using the term abomination for
a werewolf vampire.
For a werewolf vampire crossbreed. And yeah, they legitimately tried to sue because they're like, no, you can't use it. Wasn't the idea of it, it was you can't use that name. You can't call it an abomination. And they like tried to take the movie studio to court, and the judge is just like, no, just no. If you were suing for the idea of what an abomination is, you might have a case, but just suing because of they're using the term abomination, no, that's fucking ridiculous.
Right. Like there were also severe differences. I mean, in both cases, it meant a werewolf vampire, or a werewolf who's been turned vampire, or Underworld's physics work differently, so it could be a vampire who was turned werewolf. But
yeah,
in White Wolf, it was real specific because you were born a werewolf. No one is turned into a werewolf. And it is extremely difficult to turn a werewolf into a vampire. In fact, they usually just automatically die or painfully die. They actually have to botch the role severely to be turned vampiric. Which is
a movie or a card game or a tabletop or a cartoon book.
The movie Underworld and comparisons to White Wolf's version of a vampire werewolf.
Okay. Well, I know Underworld, but I don't know the other one.
Yeah.
Vampire the Masquerade, Werewolf the Apocalypse, Mage the Ascension.
I still don't know.
One day I will sit you down and we will make you a character, and we will get you all the dice.
I'm already a character.
I was gonna say.
She's in the same boat I am. I don't know anything about it.
You know, we will find out. In fact, after we get through the White Wolf segment, I do want to go through what everyone's vampire clan would be, just for shits and giggles.
That depends
The
on the
bitey.
day.
The bitey kind.
He is
There is a
definitely a
non-mighty
Toreador.
kind.
No,
What?
he is definitely a Toreador.
Yes, whatever that is.
Okay.
Sounds like you're just trying to insult me, Kate.
I am. Toreadors
Okay.
don't give a shit about anything but the aesthetic. If it's not beautiful, they don't care.
Literally, their clan weakness is
You're
you show them
complimenting
a-
me. Oh.
Their clan weakness is you show them a beautiful thing, they are starstruck and can't move.
You show them an
Oh.
ugly thing and they fall to
So
their
I'm a
knees
raccoon,
stupid.
basically.
A trash panda.
A trash pan. Yeah, exactly.
No,
See,
that's called the
Olaf,
werewolf
Olaf
clan.
is the hard one. Because he's like me. He doesn't have a set personality. So it depends on the day.
But yeah. So yeah, they both called their hybrids abominations, and they were. That was about the only similarities. It's a werewolf vampire, and they're called that. And that just wasn't going to hold up in court.
As long as White Wolf doesn't have one named Michael Corvus.
Yeah.
Well,
Is he an abomination?
it wasn't going to work.
It
White
would have
Wolf-
to be. It would have to be White Wolf creates it, not a player creates it, but the company itself has to
Yeah.
create it.
Right, as an NPC in a book. Yes, there was something close, but not close enough.
Yeah.
So, other bizarre things White Wolf did. So, all their vampire and werewolf and wraith and mage splat books sometimes use historical characters as NPCs, right?
Okay.
They accidentally made Rasputin 5 times. He was 3 different vampires, 1 mage, and 1 ghost.
Well, you know, every time they killed him, motherfucker came back.
They decided to go with that to explain their really, really bad sense of continuity.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's like, hey, he dies, he creates a ghost, but because he's a vampire, he comes back.
But they did go with, no, all 5 of these exist at once, and they're all him.
Well, again, if he's a vampire, he dies, but he's brought back. He's still still able to create a ghost. They both can exist, at the same time.
I was about to say, in vampire lore, there is actually a precedent for that.
You're saying the ghost and the vampire of the same person at the same time.
Well, no, the ghost is of the vampire.
Right.
But when the vampire comes back, what happens to the ghost? The ghost still exists. That portion of his soul still exists.
Like what they did with the What We Do in the Shadows episode.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was just gonna mention that. I'm like, there's actually, they did that.
Now, normally with Vampire the Masquerade, you do have a chance to turn to a ghost once you're destroyed as a vampire. With roughly the same odds as a human would.
The only Vampire the Masquerade stuff I've ever played are the games, like the not the tabletop games, the video games.
Bloodlines was excellent. Redemption, not so much. And we all remember that Fox aired a Vampire the Masquerade show called Kindred the Embraced during the 90s.
Yeah, I do remember that.
I remember that actually.
From Tori
It was-
Spelling,
It was
or Aaron.
okay. So it was live action. That was my next question.
I think Vampire would make a wonderful anime.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I don't see it as live action. Like what the hell? Was that any good?
No,
a
it was
good
the
show?
90s. 90s live action sucked.
Okay, to put in perspective, their budget was so low that they had to make up a reason why on the show vampires could walk in the sun.
Well, that's
Which-
because they were sparkly.
Hmm?
They were sparkly.
Oh
Sure,
god,
this
that
is
would have been
before
so
that.
much worse. They basically said if they'd recently fed, they could walk around. But in the tabletop game, nope, they go up like a Roman candle if they even get the slightest bit of dusk. In fact, one of the first things to happen if you get hit by sunlight is your eyes get burnt out, so you're running around blind at that point.
Yeah,
Do
but
you
that's-
guys, since you play D&D and stuff like that, do you guys remember the D&D cartoon from the 90s?
Yes.
Okay.
You know what the
many
funniest part about that is
commercials
that
backstage.
episode one, the very first monster they go up against is fucking Tiamat.
Wait,
And
the
these are-
90s or the one from the 80s?
80s.
Okay.
Oh, was it from the 80s? I thought it was from the 90s.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was the 80s because I remember watching that as a little kid.
Yeah, early 80s, and Tiamat was a recurring villain. Oh, and
Still,
Lol
to have him
showed up.
go up against it in episode one?
They used scaling, sure,
Apparently.
but so now that I think we've gotten most of the White Wolf scandals out of the way. Oh wait, the one last one. They were going to make a Vampire the Masquerade MMO.
Huh.
Development got halted and just staggered so badly. The assets were taken and used for an EVE Online edition instead.
Olav, I don't know. This is kind of slightly off topic, but not really. Olav, are you aware that KOTOR remake is now back in full force? I don't know if you knew that or not, so I'm just letting you know.
I've heard various different things about that from oh no, they're not doing it to yeah they are, no they're not, yes they are, and it's like
No, Sony has gone with a whole new studio. They are doing it actually.
okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That sounds familiar.
I
Okay,
don't-
one sec. I'm gonna mute myself.
I don't know
Okay.
when it's going to be out. I think maybe next year. And I found it funny that this happens a lot in the industry, the video game industry, where like a game gets delayed and then gamers go apeshit and then start spreading bullshit rumors to try and get people to stop buying the game. So people have now been spreading rumors, and unfortunately the media is taking to these rumors without actually doing any research into it, that GTA is now delayed yet again, even though it was delayed already until next year, right? May of next year. So now there's people spreading rumors that GTA 6 is delayed even further, to the point that Strauss Zelnick had to come forward, who's the CEO of Take-Two Interactive. He had to come forward and say, no, it's not delayed again. It is still coming out May of next year. Stop spreading bullshit rumors. It's annoying.
I'm
Is
reminded
that a tactic to get gamers to?
What gamers are trying to do is get people so angry about constant delays that they're not going to buy the game. They're trying to force players to not get the game. That's what gamers are. Unfortunately, that's what a majority of gamers are like today. When a game gets delayed, they think that they have a right to just like trying to bankrupt a company because of it.
Yeah, and it's like, but do you really want a piece of garbage to be released on time, or do you want it to be delayed and be good from the get-go?
or
Exactly.
neither, and beat Duke Nukem.
Or Cyberpunk 2077, because that was a steaming pile of garbage when it first came out.
Fallout 3 got delayed how long before it finally got released and under a different company?
Fallout 3 didn't go with a different company.
I thought it was originally planned by Interplay. It didn't happen, and then Bethesda walked in.
No, Black Isle was working on what they called Van Buren.
Yeah.
But then the entire Fallout franchise was sold to Bethesda.
Interplay would have gone bankrupt long before Fallout 3.
Yeah, they were in really bad condition.
A lot of people
off because
a lot of
Van
people
Buren
didn't like their
sounded like it was a
industrial
great game.
Okay, what? Hang on. One at a time now.
Well, let's do gamers first.
No, go ahead. I don't care. Go ahead and talk.
I said the fact that Van Buren was canceled pisses people off because from what little we can find of what they released, it sounded like it'd be a great game.
Van Buren? What's that?
Van Buren was
That's what they were working on before Fallout 3.
That was what Black Isle Studios was working on when the Fallout franchise was sold off in order to try and keep Interplay alive.
Interesting.
So had we had the actual timeline where the Bright Studio kept it, we would have had Fallout 1, Fallout 2, Fallout Van Buren, then maybe Fallout 3.
And now that we've finished the White Wolf section of scandals, I'm going to ask, what vampire clan is everyone?
I'm pretty sure we're all, like, this group together just pretends to be Brujah.
Yeah, we're still going with Caden first. Thoughts on everyone thoughts?
I don't know. I don't think any of us know the system well enough to decide.
Describe me. We're going to do this the way we did Leverage. Describe me, and then me and Rasclin can tell you what clan you think that I am.
Well, it's not something that we can do, because even with Leverage, we at least had the description for each class. So
give me one word you would use to describe me to a complete stranger.
But, no, Caden, you can't do that because we don't know what you're looking for.
Are you sure you want me to know? I'm just joking.
We don't know what you're looking for, so we don't know what part of you to describe. That's the problem with, say, just describe me in one word. Well, what part of you? You can't just describe a person in one word with no other input, because it's like, well, yeah, we don't know what part of your personality to describe.
Yeah, we have to step back.
Yeah, that's the hilarious part about the Vampire Clans of Masquerade. That's exactly how they work. They strip down an entire personality to, like, okay, what's the base form of that personality? Are they insane? Are they a lover of beauty? Are they a punk? Are they an idiot? Are they just really fucking ugly?
Oh, okay. So that's how we're okay. So then I'm going to say that Caden is categorically insane. So let's choose a vampire that suits that class.
Do you all agree?
It would have been my second choice.
It's my second choice.
Okay.
But now I'm curious what your first choice was.
Ravnos.
No, I'm not familiar with that one.
All right.
So
Here,
how can
spell it, and I'll look it up.
like I don't know. I don't know Olaf. I don't know Caden other than the screen. So how do we?
I would normally say, think of a word that would describe their combat, think of a word that would describe their drawbacks, and think of a word that would describe their aesthetic. Those would be the three aspects I would try to describe on anyone. And from there, I would distill a clan.
Ras, that's so sweet. Thank you.
I can't believe I put that much thought into that just now.
Yeah, nor I.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think we could really do this with the fact that nobody other than you two really knows anything about the different clans.
It's not just that, but like I don't know about, I can't speak for everybody else, but I only hang out with you guys when we do the podcast, so I don't really know any of your quirks and whatever, so it's really hard for me to describe you guys.
This is my quirk. She's right here. So I'm a gangle, obviously.
I would say that you have 3 quirks, honestly. You have 3. 2 of them are currently in chat.
Caden and Olaf?
No, I was talking about you and the dog. Okay, technically all three are in chat, but only when he starts talking.
So I'm a quirk.
We're all first.
Okay, well, sure.
Do we want to risk everything and say that Olav is in fact a Tremere?
Anarch Tremere, maybe.
Does he seem like the type to have been to trick a vampire into embracing him?
Okay, yes. At which point, yes, still Anarch Tremere. So, quick note for everyone: Tremere are basically an entire sorceress house of backstabbers who basically con their way into vampirism. However, the ones who are sane manage to get the hell out of what's called the pyramid. That's why I say Anarch Tremere. But Tremere are very analytical, very long play minded. And if you've gone Anarch, you've decided, I'm going to go where no one's really expecting me to take part in this ridiculous backstabbing hierarchy. I'm going to go with the Lost Boys style vampires over here in California.
Brown chicken, brown cow.
They still believe.
And they're still hot.
My favorite clan is Zimishe. They're the Carpathian ones. They're very much about their weakness is they have to spend time in their own native soil, or they start getting weaker night by night.
But they can also manipulate flesh and bone.
Some of them can. The main clan currently can, but there's also old clan Zimishe, which can't do that.
Yeah.
And they're technically, the Tremere are technically a bloodline of theirs. Because old clan Zim and Tremere, if you took away thaumaturgy, are the exact same discipline spread. Every clan gets 3 powers. For Tremere, it's literal vampiric blood sorcery, extrasensory, and dominating people's minds. But if they didn't have the blood sorcery, they would have control over animals instead.
Okay, so what was your second choice? Well, no, you already said your second choice was
For you, what my second choice would have been Malk. My first choice would have been Ravnos.
Okay, what about your third choice?
Cacophony.
Really? Because I always went Bruja.
I could kind of see Bruja. For me, I assume people look at me and go Zimishe or Gangrel. Nightkind, you might count as Gangrel just because of how many dogs you get there at once.
Don't blame my job.
No.
No. Gangrel's entire thing is that they're more bestial and animalistic, and they have a kindred spirit with animals.
And they also have a remarkable fortitude.
To pee on everything?
Well,
Yes.
I mean, they do run with wolves.
And they can shapeshift.
Well, I do call them my pack. And they do follow me around the yard. Like almost every dog follows me around the yard, so I guess I'll go with that.
It was going to be that, or I would also have said you could have been Zimishe, because Zimishe have the animal dominance, but they also get the whole, this is my domain. Any who enter it follow my rules.
As long as we don't have any ministry, we're good.
Hey,
Ministry-
my house, my rules.
Sorry, say again?
My house, my rules.
Yeah. And Ministry is the followers of Set. They're literally Egyptian vampires as far as descendants goes. But
But
They
they're
are-
religious zealots.
although the reason they're called the Ministry now instead of the followers of Set is a lot of them just said, fuck Set.
There's a chthonic god now.
Malkavians are insane, but they have power over The dominate mind, they get that, or they get just literal power over insanity, so they can take it or give it. Perception and stealth. Bruja are known to have basically short fuses. They have a self-control penalty, so they frenzy more easily. They have extra strength, extra speed, and charisma.
Yeah. Also, they're philosophers. Because they're punks, basically.
Yeah, they're Henry Rollins if you had a clan. Yeah, that's actually a really good.
We have true Bruja now?
True Bruja, they replace the celerity with Temporis, so they're the time-traveling vampires still. There's Salubri, they've got a third eye and they heal people.
I don't know, White Wolf only lists 13 main clans anymore.
Yeah, but there's like 1 billion different bloodlines. Like, my second favorite would probably be the Bali, the demonic vampires. 1/3 of which decided, fuck that.
Yeah, that one you mentioned was C isn't even on here.
Cacophony should be under Daughters of Cacophony. But
Nope.
not all of them are women, so.
It has Banu Hagam, Bruja, Gangrel, Hecata, Lasombra, Malkavian Ministry, Nosferatu, Ravnos, Toreador, Tremere, Mint, and Ventru.
Those are the names as a 5th edition. The Hecata, as an example, are actually formerly known as the Giovanni and formerly known as the Cappadocians.
Yep.
Ministry is formerly the Sedites, or follow Set. Banu Hakim had previously been known as the Assamites.
Oh, there we go. So are we talking... Yeah, Requiem.
Requiem only has 5 clans.
Yeah, I know, I found Cacophony, but you had the Requiem version, and you had the,
I was thinking the Masquerade version.
Yeah.
Good gods, Requiem is 21 years old right now, or it will be in September.
Mm-hmm.
And I played the same Gangrel in a live-action game for about 4 years.
This is basically us going the long way around, saying that if we wanted to insult you gamers, we would have just called you Nosferatu from the start.
Fair enough.
Nosferatu, penalty is inhuman appearance. Like, they cannot pass as human without some sort of magic involved. Strengths. They get extra strength, stealth. The stealth is, by the way, good enough to mask their appearance if they really want to, and control over animals. They're known as being the information brokers.
Fair enough.
They're also known for being hunted by their clan founder, who thinks once he kills every last one of his descendants, Cain, the first vampire, murderer of his brother Abel, will come, forgive him, and restore his original appearance. Vampires lore got pretty involved, like at least as involved as Warhammer 40k.
For some reason, when you mentioned Kane, I was thinking of the Legacy of Kane games. That came to mind for some reason.
Vampire the Masquerade predates Legacy of Kain, so they might have taken some inspiration from that, but it's hard to say. I mean, it's a very... The Kain in White Wolf is more unknowable because no one's seen him in a long time. Although, like, plenty of groups like the Sabbat literally worship him. A lot of the characters in Vampire are, like, near mythical. Each clan has its own legendary founder, who has not been seen. There are exceptions. Everyone knows where Tremere himself is. Or where Augustus Giovanni is. But they also weren't original founders. They were just turned themselves vampiric and then chowed down on their clan founders and took their power.
So, have you played many of the vampire video games?
Yes, I played Redemption back when it came out in the 90s. Juliet, you're here.
Now we're all here.
And you've come at a good time because I am done almost speaking about White Wolf in general.
Okay, let me get things moved around here real quick. Turn it down
I
here.
have been replaced.
But yeah, if you can hear us, we've got your. It says your mic is muted.
How about now?
Yes.
There we
Now
go.
we're good.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
So yeah, I will stop the White Wolf vampiric bit short because, like you said, there's not much knowledge of it. But one day I will run another game. I will run a game for everyone, and it will be Vampire. Requiem or Masquerade, I have no idea. And I will run you all through character creation. Juliet has already been one of my players in a Requiem game.
That's right.
You realize I'm immediately just going to find another vampire, brutalize them just so I can be destroyed right off, right?
Okay, I couldn't hear the last thing you said, Juliet. Yeah, you're muted.
Uh-oh.
First night fine now. It's contagious.
It might be your frame rate. That happened earlier tonight, kind, and
Am I blurry?
a little.
You look fine on my end.
Not blurry?
I mean, there's motion blur because you're darting back and forth.
I'll sit still.
Wait, this is perfect time to use our mind skills.
All right, and most of us in place. Now I just need to add another one for Ras. All right.
I mean, technically, you could have put one in gamer slot and then kept Ras where you would.
Well, Gamers is here though.
Yeah. So your plan to kick me out didn't work.
It's not kick you out. It's just we have a cam slot we never use.
That's okay.
That's
I
true.
thought
I don't have a
everybody-
cam yet. The plan is to get one. I just haven't had time.
Please don't make it a
Right.
potato.
I can't tell if Juliet is still. Okay, yeah, we have motion again. Juliet, try saying something. No,
Nope.
no sound.
Plenty of cam action, no sound.
All right, let me see.
Okay, it says
You know
muted.
why I don't play a lot of tabletop? Because I read these rules and the lore and everything, and my ADD kicks in, and I end up skipping half this shit.
Maybe that's why I have such a hard time with Lords of Waterdeep. Because I just get anxious and I want everything to happen, and your lore, I don't care. We're just going to move on and take that castle.
I'm a little familiar. Like, I know Forgotten Realms, and that's where Lords of Waterdeep takes place. Same continuity as the D&D movie that came out a little bit ago, but I think Juliet's going to try and get back in a second.
Okay.
There we go.
Everybody's messed up. Everybody's in a different place.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, still not hearing anything.
Wait.
It's weird because
Earlier
when
we
she
were having-
first joined, we heard her voice for a split second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her cam came up and we heard her, and
Mm-hmm.
Well, not first. You were muted at first, Juliet, and then you unmuted, and then we heard you for a bit, and then suddenly muted again.
Yeah.
That might be it. Just try turning on and off your mute. Okay.
what are you wearing?
You're blurry. I'm horny.
All right.
Okay.
Can't hear you. Damn it. Weird.
There you go. I thought they were cat ears.
No.
Okay. I love them.
Quick, she's deafened.
Well,
Can she see us?
Yeah.
Okay.
but I'm going to wrap up the vampire stuff. Yes, at some point I will run a game. We will all go through character creation for a session, maybe. But it will be
Maybe.
Masquerade, probably, instead of Requiem. It might even be D20. Because, God no, I need
Want
to
my
do...
job? Anybody? Anybody want my job?
I'm
I
looking
think
at
I'll pass.
cats. I don't need your fucking job.
I already have this doggy.
Well, I'm down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
You were at 6 the other night.
Yeah, and then who came today?
You're never taking a vacation, are you?
Time off? What is this time off that you speak of? Hey, I need to put a new roof on my house, so
Yeah.
I need to
Fly
get
me
this-
out there. It wouldn't be the first roof I've worked on in the last year.
Yeah, the pitch. You do not want to get up on the pitch.
Have you seen my roof?
Yes. I've seen pictures of your roof, and I would rather do your roof than the pitch on this roof.
My first thought is, can we do something to flatten your pitch?
Don't throw a bomb on my house. I like my house.
Okay.
Just do that for right now.
Okay, Caden, next week you're getting me in my little hats. My cute hats. My horny hats. My
Hold on.
kitty.
We're talking hats.
I'm sorry.
I
I feel like a box of American spirits and a leather jacket right now.
Olaf, I think this is the first time I've seen you without a hat.
probably, yeah.
Okay.
One more try. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah,
we
hear
can.
you.
Check sibilance.
All right. I will give up the hat search for now. All right. Let's make sure that we can say something again now that your video's up.
Okay. So
Without a
you
hat.
won't
too.
believe what happened. Did you guys happen to
happened?
see a dark flash of fur go between me and the camera?
Yes.
I'm cat sitting. There is one of the cats that loves to run across the keyboard. The cat managed to put me in airplane mode and turn off the microphone input by stepping on random keys on the keyboard.
Wow,
Damn.
that's talented.
Yeah, that is.
I dislike the fact that I could easily just go over there, change my pants and my shirt real quick, and just be in full Snake Plissken cosplay. And I only dislike it because of the fact that I just realized I could have been doing that this entire time.
If I knew that we were going to talk about vampires, I could have. Speaking of dressing, oh my gosh, perfect! I have the.
I mean,
So I can't stay super late, but what are we talking about besides vampires?
Apparently we're bitching about vampires. And tabletop, but mostly vampires.
but tabletop scandals, Wizards of the Coast is one thing I know. You brought up the OGL earlier in chat, which I had forgotten. I don't know how I forgot that. But if there are some others you can think of, I think this would be an excellent place.
Oh man.
I've already covered most of the White Wolf scandals, so
So you haven't even started on Wizards?
Now, there was plenty with White Wolf, such as taking away the playable vampires that have been in game for 25 years. That was pretty nuts.
Well, gosh, Wizards. I mean, it seems like they've been dogged with scandals at least since 5th edition came out, which is when I started paying attention, probably back further. But does the word consultant gate ring any bells?
I'm sure it will once you explain it, but not off the top of my head.
Well, they gave credits to some, let's say, controversial figures in the 5th edition player's handbook, and it seems like ever since then they've had a scandal at least once a year of some kind or another.
Spelljammer incident comes to mind, but they also had a scandal in the 90s, several scandals.
True, although that was a different that wasn't Wizards, that was TSR.
It was TSR, but it was very much a D&D thing at the time.
So tell me which one you're thinking of.
The first one that comes to mind, and I gave it passing mention earlier in the podcast, was local artist Jason Burrows, who's actually an artist for several comic books. You know him for his work on Walking Dead, Cross, but he also did some work for TSR back in the 90s, for which he still has not been paid.
Ooh.
So, yeah, this was a problem with gaming companies, but TSR should have been established enough to not pull that one.
Yeah, no kidding.
But we
Of
do
course,
know that... Go ahead.
by all accounts, TSR had abysmal business management, so...
They had gone through a strange, odd glut. Going from 1992 to 1994, it was the era of box sets. You've all seen my bookshelves full of Planescape and Dark Sun and Ravenloft, and the Men's of Barons and Forgotten Realms box set that came out for $20 in 1992. But it was all bound to come crashing down with the bad ideas that really got going in 95 and just kept going and going until the company needed to be bought out by Wizards in 96. One of the biggest debacles was Dragon Dice. Imagine in your minds, everyone, a collectible dice game. You collect the dice to play with.
You know what's funny is they were not the last ones to try that, but go on.
It has been revived every so often. You can buy Dragon Dice at Gen Con every year. I might finally take the plunge this year and do it just for shits and giggles. But it was the last nail in the coffin. They'd had some blunders before. They decided to enter the realm of TCGs in general. Spellfire, Blood Wars, which I'll admit I liked, but it was Planescape, so of course I loved it. The Dragonlance 5th Age stuff would also kind of get a weird reception during its release in 96 after what many thought would be the last Dragonlance novel was released in 1995, taking that entire setting out of Dungeons & Dragons and into the Saga rule system, which was also used for Marvel superheroes. Finally, I could have my fight between Rasclin Megere and Magneto. Give me my white-haired, red-clad anti-heroes, thank you.
You know, does anyone here besides me read Knights of the Dinner Table? They did some marvelous takes on a lot of the classic stories of things that happened at Wizards of the Coast.
Yep. The names were changed to protect the... I can't say innocent with a straight face.
Innocent.
Well, Wizards of the Coast and TSR.
I remember being there in 1999 when Gary Gygax got dragged up on stage and asked if he would help work on 3rd edition. Holy shit.
What happened?
In Milwaukee back then.
What did he say?
Not Daddy Gygax.
He said yes, and then when I talked to him the next year, he said he barely worked on it. They basically wanted him to rubber stamp shit with a Gygax seal of approval.
Well, speaking of controversies, he's a controversial figure himself nowadays, so...
There's good reason. I mean, he must have buried the hatchet with Arneson long enough to make things work, because they were seated next to each other at Gen Con 2000 when they just signed and handed everyone their copy of the PHB for 3.0. this takes me to another scandal I wanted to get into. The brief, very brief, 2.5 scandal.
There
And
was
when
one?
I say scandal, I'm talking very loosely. Okay, so the second edition came out in 1989. There were new rule books released in 95, but as soon as you opened them up, they would say, this is not D&D 3rd edition. And what it was basically a reskinning of things, including a new version of the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons logo that, 1, did not mention what edition it was in, and 2, got rid of the dragon ampersand.
Well,
I will get a copy of this logo, because of course I have it, and I will grab a counter example.
Quick, hit the cricket.
All right. First, an example. I'm sure the camera will flip the thing. Well, on mine it did. This is the old AD&D logo for 2nd edition. Note the dragon ampersand. Note the 2nd edition. Note that they would sometimes shorten it. Note the old TSR logo. So 95 was a year of rebranding. The first thing they did, rebranded-wise, was the new TSR logo. Then the new AD&D logo. People did not like.
Not
Of course.
surprising.
Damage. I hate that.
Of course, that was before the internet really got going, so it didn't have the chance to whip itself into a full-scale nationwide bit of nerd rage. Oh, hey!
We would hear nowadays about that.
That does remind me, though. How about the getting rid of demons and devils in 2nd edition?
3rd edition. Oh, wait, you're right. It was 2nd edition.
It was 2nd.
At least that played into a greater plot line. The Tenari and Beatizu, I grew up with my D&D with those names instead of demons and devils. So when they were told demons and devils, but also kept their old descriptors, like the Beatizu were a type of devil, the Tenari are a type of demon, it deepened the lore for me. So I feel like I came at the right time to appreciate it.
Well, the grognards at the time felt that the game was being watered down, when really they've been complaining about that ever since. Not the same thing, but the supposed watering down.
Right.
What was the mention of the safety tools, by the way?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that certainly has created many a flame war on various online platforms. The most prominent one I know of is the one that's put out by Monty Cook Games. I think it's called Consent in Gaming or something like that. Where they talk about going over lines and veils and so on.
Hold on, let me see here.
I
Upload a
mean,
file.
I still think I need another computer so I can do the 2 screens like all y'all do. So I can look up
don't-
stuff.
Okay, so secretly, this is my laptop right here.
Yeah,
That's just a TV.
okay. I also don't have the room for it, so
Cable.
I don't really want a second screen. I just if I need anything, I just use my phone.
Yeah, see, the second screen comes in handy when doing stuff like this because I have the cameras up full screen on a secondary screen.
Yeah.
So they're actually full
This is not a
size.
working game. That's OBS and Discord.
Yeah.
I guess
But-
I could grab a second monitor, but
See, that's the problem you have, Caden, with the leverage game, is you have to have that kind of scaled down. So
Yeah.
you only have so many pixels. If you only have 100 pixels wide and you try and blow it up to 200 pixels, it's gonna look weird. It's gonna look blocky.
That's why
Well,
I've just
you know,
started having it
I have 2
full screen
computers.
on this
because
one.
Evidently, I can't work this one.
Where did it go?
Yeah, the safety tools thing, I mean, I honestly feel like that is largely generational and or zeitgeist, that there's just a shift in, how should I put it, in whose responsibility it is to deal with whatever issues a particular player may have. That we when I was a kid, it was definitely, I mean, full disclosure, when I was a kid, I was the scarediest of scaredy cats. I could not handle the tiniest bit of horror. I could not watch old Bela Lugosi era monster movies on television. I could not handle a haunted house at the fair. I've gotten somewhat better, but horror still really isn't my thing. And so, I mean, I absolutely would have been the type of player who had they given me the option to say, no horror, nothing gory, nothing scary. Oh my gosh, would I have taken them up on it? But in that day and age, that wasn't the way things were done. It was my responsibility to figure out what I could handle and what I couldn't. And if I got into something accidentally that I couldn't handle, then it was my responsibility to get myself out. Nowadays, it's more of the onus is put on other people to make sure that they are not doing something that's going to make you uncomfortable. I don't know how I feel about it, to be perfectly honest. Like I said, I certainly would have benefited from it when I was a kid and would have liked it. Now I've gotten used to being able to make my own calls, and it doesn't seem like that big a deal, but then I'm not a kid anymore. So, I don't know.
I went ahead and provided an example in the Pirates channel.
See, one of the things that gets me with that is it's like, you know, that there should be a communication before any game starts of, hey, this is the general themes that are dealt with in this. If you don't feel comfortable, don't play.
Yeah, but back in the day, they didn't even do that.
I mean, it would be like it's kind of, I see it as kind of the insanity of like Elon Musk's supposedly trying to play Grand Theft Auto 5 and being shocked that in the opening you shoot police officers. It's like, it's fucking Grand Theft Auto. You know what to expect from it. You know that you are going to be playing as a criminal.
I had not heard about this, but oh my god.
It was something to watch.
Well, he's not really a real gamer anyway, right? Didn't he?
Yeah,
He like use other people to get far in games and then took credit for it or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had a
Yeah,
stream
he's an
where he
idiot.
was like trying to claim he was amazing, then died to the tutorial boss, was playing
Yeah.
grime music the entire time, and people were just spamming chat.
There shall never be a worse Diablo player.
I think the thing that bothered me the most about him was he recently blamed his idiocy on the fact that he's autistic. He kept on going, well, I have an excuse, I'm autistic. I'm like, okay, whatever, buddy. You're just an
Yeah,
idiot.
no, I'm pretty sure even people on the spectrum cringed when you said the phrase, I am become meme.
Yeah.
I am become, go drink bleach, motherfucker.
But yeah, like,
So-
yeah, there's certain it's kind of like, you know, kind of like if you're playing a D&D game, you know that there's going to be violence and combat. You can't sit there and say, oh, well, I don't tone down the violence. It's like, ow.
Yeah, but for a good example, I mean, say you're arachnophobic. That's one that comes up fairly often. And you don't always know that when you explore the haunted caves of whatever, that there's going to turn out to be giant spiders in there. Especially if that's a big twist. Now, if the title of the adventure is Into the Caves of the Spider Queen, yeah, that's on you if you sign up for it.
Yeah. Like,
What was our example? Was is the campaign with Lulth gonna have spiders? Nope.
like, I mean, you know, a sudden spider just showing up would be would be missing the opportunity for proper storytelling, because it's like you should see like webs and stuff before you get to the spider, like. So it's like, you know.
Now, yeah, I remember a sort of transitional phase before they started getting into explicit content warnings, where they would just give you like a movie rating and say, hey, we're going to keep this game PG-13, or this one's going to be soft R.
Like the example that I just put in chat, I used that when I first ran the campaign. That's the first thing it does. It's like, name of your GM, your name or your character's name, whatever the plan theme is, and then it's like, hey, if this game were a movie, what rating would you want to be? It goes from G to NC-17. Then it gives you an other rating, I guess, in case you're not part of the MPAA. And then yeah, it just gives you like the basic categories. You've got horror, mental health, physical health, relationships, social and cultural issues, additional topics. So like horror includes bug, blood, demon, eyeballs, gore, harmed animals, harm to children, rats, spiders.
Yeah.
Religious abuse.
As I was saying in the chat, I mean, I personally, I get all the arguments for it, but I don't find that part of the process fun. In fact, I kind of hate going through it. Sometimes I wish there could be a room at cons where they say, hey, you know, we're going to do anything in this room that you might see in an adventure movie. And if you have no particular really severe triggers, you can feel reasonably safe, you know, but we're not going to go into detail about which games have spiders and which ones have evil priests or whatever. The only problem is I feel like if anybody tried that, then you'd get the people who are like, oh, we don't care about them snowflakes' feelings, and I don't really want to play with them either, so.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Personally, I love this category. Severe weather.
That's a trigger warning?
Yeah, severe weather for hurricanes, tornadoes. I was like, okay. I can kind of see it, because maybe you have PTSD.
All right, I know one person I've ever met who she will literally dodge for cover and lose all self-control if she even hears thunder. So,
but on the other hand, yeah, but that's such an unusual thing that that's where when you get into the, you know, when I was a kid, it would have been her responsibility to manage that and not everyone else to try and anticipate it. So,
yeah.
And I you know, it basically comes down to you got one system that works, but maybe doesn't work so well for some people, and another system that also works, but maybe doesn't work so well for different people. So.
I'm trying to think of how often I've seen something like hurricanes or tornadoes in a role-playing game. It's like, I'm not sure I ever actually have.
Yeah, I haven't either, for that matter.
I mean, they're not normally needed. By the time
Storm elemental, sure.
Yeah, it was like by the time you get to a point where severe weather would be a thing, you're either facing an elemental or a dragon, so...
Well, unless it's, maybe if it's an indie game.
Maybe. I like how they broke up heat stroke and thirst.
Speaking of indie games, my personal favorite set of warnings, there's a game that came out recently, and I'll put in, I'm going to laugh at it a little bit, but I will also put in a plug, because I've played it, and it is actually a fun game. It is called, well, no, I'm not gonna tell you the title of the game yet. I'm just gonna tell you what the warnings are. The warnings include murder and regicide.
Friday night?
And I actually...
meetings were on Fridays.
Yeah, well, the title of the game is The King's Poisoner. I actually asked the creator of the game, why did you warn for both murder and regicide? Isn't it just covered under murder? And the game's creator told me, well, I wanted to be really sure in case there were maybe people who came from countries that had a king and maybe they felt really strongly about it. Now, I mentioned this to a European friend of mine, and her response was, anybody who's from a country that has a king is very familiar with the concept of regicide.
Yeah.
What was that reaction for?
Mine was just
Yeah.
the with a name like the King's Poisoner. It's like you how
Kind
do
of
you,
obvious.
how do you how do you not know that there's going to be regicide and murder? Like these are, it's in the title.
Right?
I mean, at that point, you might as well just call it the King's Stabbening or something like that. Like, it's the same shit.
To be
I'm
fair,
down.
movie.
That
can
matters.
survive. Oh, sorry. What did you say, Rasclin?
I said, I'm down, and for that matter, so's the king.
No, this reminds me of one of my favorite movies, Brain Scan, where the kid runs a horror club, and they're like, what were you watching? And he's like, death, death, death. Part 2.
So,
That's very
yeah,
good to remember.
I mean, I try to be
What did you say,
understanding, but I really do think that one is going overboard with the warnings.
Yeah,
What'd you say, Nightkind?
About brain scan. That's one I do remember.
It's hard to forget.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it's most of the like the agreements and the content warnings and stuff like that. It's like you kind of have to, you know, it's one of those that, you know, you have to, again, you know, just a decent conversation about what the general system is should prevent too much problem.
Although, to be fair, I mean, I think there's also a difference between a campaign, you know, among people who maybe even know each other, and like a con game where you're all complete strangers.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to a convention and saying, "Hey, I'm going to sit in on, you know, I'm going to go and partake in this game or that game," it's like you have to understand that you're putting yourself at a risk at that point. It's like that's just the nature of the beast.
That's the way it seems to me, but I feel like that is not necessarily a given for a lot of people nowadays.
Did you insist that the con have trigger warnings before you came?
Yeah, that's kind of my thing. It's like, you know, if there are some things in certain systems or certain games that are going to make you feel uncomfortable, then you shouldn't be just opening yourself up to just jumping into some random game.
I tend to agree, but let me give you another situation that I saw on a message board just as a thought exercise. This guy was sharing about why he felt that trigger warnings were important. And he was talking about a con that he went to once where he was participating in a LARP. And all of the characters in the LARP were circus performers. And of course, you know, in LARPs, you're encouraged to come in costume if possible. So his character was a clown. And he did himself up in full clown makeup and everything. And something happened. I forget what it was, that they had to leave the room where they were LARPing for a moment and go out into the hallway. And he said some woman caught sight of him and had a full out panic attack because she had clown phobia. I know there's a technical name for it, but I can't remember what it is.
Chorophobia.
But you know, she had a serious incident because of this, and he felt terrible. And so, you know, he felt like, well, if only we'd had some kind of way of warning her that there might be clowns around, this could have been prevented. I'm like, I don't know. I can't dispute that he's right. But at the same time, that just seems like such an incredible, perfect storm of circumstances.
Yeah. at that point, what are you gonna do? It's like, okay, so somebody who's cosplaying as the Joker is gonna set her off.
Yeah, but this is the other thing, is that wouldn't you think that these kind of people who have these kind of phobias, wouldn't they realize that, you know, you're going to a convention, there is probably going to be somebody cosplaying there that will set off one of your phobias? It just kind of makes sense. At least it does to me. Like, I mean, you're always going to get people cosplaying as multiple characters, multiple, you know, whatever.
Yeah, that's one of those things where it's like, you know, even the convention has no idea what costumes somebody's going to be coming in as. So it's like they have no control over it.
Oh God, the year I spent a full-blown Drider.
The most they can do is put out a warning ahead of time on maybe their website saying, like, you know, if you have any phobias, just be aware that we aren't responsible for what people cosplay as.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say.
That's the only thing I can think of doing.
Right. Isn't there
And
Why
even
is that
then-
the second time that example has popped up today? Why are we talking about the bag of peanuts with the warning of may contain peanuts?
It's the word "may" that worries me there.
Yeah.
I'm reminded of one year we did the vampire theme for Goth Prom. And of course, I was definitely not vegan at the time, so I brought black pudding. Now, for those of you at home, the two main ingredients in a black pudding are blood and flour. And so I wound up including a warning that said, "Warning, contains blood, gluten."
I know which one is more likely to have scared people.
Now here's my question: Did you make sure to put the comma in, or did you leave it out?
I put the comma in.
Okay.
No, see, blood gluten would have been hilarious, because then you would have had even more white women staring at it going,
Our guest DJ, Scary Lady Sarah, actually did come up to me and said, "Does it really have blood?" And I said, "Well, yeah, just like
does it
heck."
fucking say contains blood?
And I understood the incredulity, because it's like,
I mean, to be fair, blood isn't eaten a lot in modern times, except in niche ethnic dishes like that.
Well,
Or fetish groups.
I mean, okay. Well, technically, you know, just straight blood. Because, you know, you get a good steak or something like that, it's inevitably going to have some blood in it. But it's like, yeah, it's not something that's listed as part of the ingredients.
Right.
Sorry,
First
my
time-
brain's in a place. You said just straight blood. I'm like, what, queer blood's okay?
the first time I ever made black pudding at home, to get the blood, I didn't have the common sense to go to the meat sciences market. So I drained a brisket for the blood.
Now, anymore, they don't put real blood into meat. They use a coloring to make the meat look red and to give the visual that, oh, this is blood. This is how fresh our meat is. So I would tend to go that that's a misnomer.
That is true. Yeah, because if I
It
remember
did
right,
work.
one of the things they do is they pump before they seal it, before they seal any packages of meat up, they actually pump in nitrogen into the blood to get that nice vivid red color back.
Well, this was a local butcher, so I know it was real blood for two reasons. One, it worked. And two, when I then attempted to make the brisket free of blood, I realized I'd accidentally made it jerky brisket.
Why didn't you go straight to the butcher and say, give me blood? I need to make
I
pudding.
was not thinking that clearly.
Okay.
I later did, but
Okay.
it was my first time with this sort of thing.
I mean, they would look at you funny, but hey, if you're going to pay them, why not?
Actually, I don't think they'd look at you funny, because you can ask a butcher for the most weird shit.
I would ask for the tails of cows so I can make whips with the tails. So They gave them to me. They just went to the pile of skin, and they were just like, so I can understand that they would not be surprised on what they were asked.
As
And
I
there
would find
are-
out later.
Yeah, and there are dishes that involve blood. I mean, in addition to black pudding, there are some traditional soups. There's one, like, especially Eastern European cooking, I think, uses that. So, yeah, they probably would have heard it before, I would bet.
I'd
I
had
just use it in squibs.
I've had a blood cake soup before over at the South China restaurant when it was still in town.
Oh, wow. Was that the place that used to serve spicy rabbit cubes, too?
I think it was. I didn't have
Those-
those.
They were actually really good. It was an appetizer, spicy rabbit cubes.
Look, what? I mean, two of us,
We
at
really
least
just have
two
to
of us, I
start
know
adding
here.
noises just for night kind.
What's that?
At least,
Hayden, what was that?
That's we still really just have to start adding noises just for you.
I figure one of these times we're going to have a soundboard set up to the point where, you know, if Nightkind's mic isn't working, she's just going to be, you know, interacting via sound effects.
I tried that over on mine, but the waves stopped working, so I had to stop working on the soundboard.
but I was going to say at least two people here have eaten brains. 3 people.
Yeah.
They served them in the cafeteria the year I was in France.
Okay,
I may
for
have
me, I had
cadaver in my
first-
spine, but I resist the zombie urges.
And Nightkind, you had them from a deer, correct?
Yeah, that was roasted warmed up in a pit. We dug a huge ass pit. The head went in there. You sawed off the crown of the head, and you just went in there and just dipped all the brains out. And
What animal?
it was a deer. A whitetail.
For me, I think.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. At least that's what I heard. And I ate them before I knew what they were, and I still didn't like them. So I know that it's not that I'm grossed out by the idea of eating brains. I just don't like them.
Well, when you're eating it, it was really weird to walk up to a deer head and start scooping out brains.
Yeah.
So that was a little off-putting. And never had them since. Of course, vegetarian, but I had no desire to have them again.
Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah, I thought you weren't done yet.
Blech.
All right. For me, the goat brains I had in Barcelona were just like, I mean, I didn't feel, again, this is over 20 years ago, so that wasn't even pescatarian, let alone vegan at the time, but I thought, okay, this is a new thing, followed by, well, I've had the new thing, now I can say I've had that. Wasn't anything particularly interesting about it. Maybe that had something to do with the way it was cooked. This was at an open air market, and they had them drained of blood? Not
Brains
drained
are
of blood.
mostly
Are they gray?
fat,
Are they
salt,
red?
and water.
Hmm?
I'm saying brains are mostly fat, salt, and water, so you can't really flavor them. But now I'm curious. You've mentioned that if we could get clone meat, and especially Ouroboros steak, you would eat it. Would you eat your own fucking brain?
At this point, I would not. I would feed cloned meat to Olive, but at this point, I would not eat any cloned meat for health reasons.
Good answer. I wouldn't eat my brain either.
Before I went vegan, I would have been totally about that.
No, never would. Never. I never would. I mean, just the thought of cloned squishy, it's just, no, I would not do that. There's too many things I think that could go wrong with that.
And
I mean, to be fair,
think
it's not even like an ethical thing. It's not that I have a problem eating a clone of myself. More the fact that if I ever met a clone of myself, I'd be more interested in beating it to death.
So the thing is, I hear I don't think I've ever tried it, but I hear that the meat of carnivores doesn't taste as good as the meat of herbivores. And that probably also applies to omnivores. So I can't imagine that eating a clone of myself would taste very good.
When
I'm trying to think if I've ever had a strict carnivore.
No, most are not hunted for meat. Bear is about the closest that you might actually run in. Well, maybe boar. Aren't they omnivores? Omnivorous?
yeah,
Yeah, boars will literally eat anything. Any porcine will eat literally anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've had that.
Up to a certain point. Apparently, there is a point where even domestic pigs will, if they are fed pickles enough, they will just start burying it directly into their poop pile.
I can't say I blame them.
I mean, that's probably just vinegar.
I remember one carnivore I've eaten, and I do mean pure obligate carnivore.
Yes.
Gator.
Ah,
I can't remember if I've ever actually had gator.
I have not.
I know I haven't had rattlesnake.
I figured it would have been shark because, like, there's so many.
Oh,
so
I
many.
had shark too, you're right.
I was gonna say there's so many places that are like, oh yeah, we've got shark on the menu. It's like, okay, I've heard it tastes like crap, but okay.
It was about the same taste as swordfish, but I didn't eat the fin. I was eating flank steaks.
Might be different if you're talking about cold-blooded carnivores as opposed to warm-blooded, though.
Possible.
there is. I think it's like in Denmark or something. They ferment the shark
Iceland.
fin. Okay, yeah, and they ferment it, and it's just like so disgusting, but supposed to be. The smell is absolutely disgusting, but the meat part is supposed to be delicious.
There's a Are you familiar with the webcomic Scandinavia in the World? Oh gosh, we should find the link. They have personifications of the various countries, and there's one bit where they start comparing their habits of eating various preparations of fish. Like, Denmark is all happy with his pickled herring, and then Sweden comes along and is like, oh, here, have some fermented pickled herring. What, fermented? You mean like rotten? Yeah, it's the best. And then Iceland comes along and says, oh, you guys are such wusses. I only eat rotten fermented shark that's been buried for 2 years or whatever. And then the last shot is Denmark sitting in a corner with his little can of pickled herring looking traumatized.
Gee, and just think, Seattle didn't even show up with lutefisk.
Yeah, actual Scandinavian people, from what I hear, are like, we only ate that stuff when we were desperate. Why would you do it voluntarily?
I was gonna say, yeah, it's like it sounds like, yeah, this is what you have on hand just in case everything else runs out and you are next to death.
Like, this is what we ate when, like, the next step is resorting to cannibalism, guys.
But I have relatives in Minnesota, and, I was up there once at Thanksgiving, and sure enough, stop in a store, and there's a flyer on the door for the First Lutheran Church Turkey and Lutefisk dinner.
Still no thanks.
No, yeah, no.
Yeah.
I've had the
When they say
old
what's the first
pickled
ingredient,
herring,
they say
but
lie. No.
I am told that if it is prepared properly, it is good, but I'll take your word for it. I don't have to know.
Well, the Donner Party, 8 other people, and the jet that crashed with the Chilean soccer team, and how long did they stay up on the mountain before they were rescued? But
Yeah, they also got that cool little disease, starts with a P, I forget what it is.
ions.
Yeah, that one.
So I wonder, and I read the book, and when I read the book, it got incredibly graphic about how the meat tasted and actually how it came out of your body. So you're like shitting this incredibly, how do I go about it with it? It was like you were so constipated that when you finally did, it was like rock hard, just because the amount of protein that you were eating without getting any other fiber. And so that's all they did was eat their friends. And
This is why you eat the shirt.
what's that?
I said that's why you eat the shirt.
It's fiber.
Fiber. And oh look, we started with vampire and we've gone all the way back to eating humans.
I had a friend once ask me to write my body into my will so he could eat it when I died.
You're still friends with this person?
I'm sorry, did you use the term friend?
He's on the other side of the country now, for this among many other reasons.
But you used the term friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, not like somebody you used to be friends with, somebody you are...
I am. You know this person, you've met him, it's a long story.
Friends don't ask friends to let them eat them.
Yeah. Even after you're dead, that's still just
I think
friends ask friends to perform necromancy. That's what they do.
I think he found out that I wanted my skin turned into a book when I die, and just went from there.
I'm gonna donate my body to a body farm. Once I'm dead and I'm in the body farm, have at it, whatever you guys want.
Being turned
I
into a
always
book
said
and
that
being
I'm not
eaten.
being cremated. I'm not being buried. I am getting turned into an animatronic to scare the fuck out of my grandkids. And this was before Five Nights at Freddy's, so don't give me that shit.
Have we all heard the something positive solution?
Scared to ask.
Yeah.
I forget what something positive said.
The comic.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying I forget what the
main character, Davin, wanted to basically, have his corpse taxidermied, put on a throne, and then just have, strippers taking photos with it all night. Then, at the end of the party, for his funeral, he wanted to be burned on a funeral pyre, but keep the skull. Just tearing it of all flesh. Then he wanted to give it to this one friend of his, so she could mount the human skull on her wall. And whenever she would bring a man home, and they asked what the skull on the wall was, she could answer, "That's the last man who did me wrong."
Okay, I think I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah.
Also, just to respond to Gas, that's not socially acceptable either. Either way.
Yeah, you can't have a human skull anymore. But I've processed animals before. I would love to be able to do that and have my own a human skull. And just the process is absolutely amazing. So that would be so cool. Yeah, let me have your skull.
I said queer blood earlier, and now all I can think of is like just fucking sparkly. It's like jets of rainbow-colored blood with the sparkle.
All right, give me just a moment here. I need to go to the bathroom real quick. So talk amongst yourselves.
You guys remember Floam?
So are
Did you
we?
remember that Floam from the 90s?
What about the 90s?
I said, do you remember Floam?
Floam?
Yeah, it was like this toy they sold. It wasn't exactly a liquid, but it wasn't like Play-Doh. It was this weird spongy kind of foam stuff.
That sounds familiar, but I can't recall it.
Yeah,
Other than it sounds familiar.
That's the consistency I imagine queer blood to have.
The 80s and 90s were a very interesting time. So you want me to remember stuff? Yeah, no.
Was it the cocaine?
Oh, mountains of it. It was off a stripper's ass.
That's what I love about the drug culture. The 80s had cocaine, and then the 90s just like jumped straight from coke to like LSD and Molly. We're just like, nah, we're gonna go straight off the deep end.
Back to LSD.
We had better LSD.
so many parties in this town, you could not swing a dead rivet head without hitting just a giant bunch of molly.
I mean, a dead rivet head is a pretty large thing to swing.
Yeah.
I felt like I needed to basically be very specific about the club scene in Champaign at the time.
Watch how you say rivet head. Watch how you say that.
Yeah,
Should I
kind
go
of like
I
skinhead.
can match that on? No, because
So-
I'm considered a rivet head because the type of music that I listen to.
I know.
So-
Look what show I DJ.
Well, it's been a while since I've actually listened to any, like, the whole entire set through, and
It's mostly industrial.
I was about to say,
Okay.
you'd think he'd be a fang banger, but no, he's totally industrial.
well, because I think I play more industrial than you, but Who's
Okay, we're not getting into an industrial pissing contest. We don't have the barbed wire.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
An industrial pissing contest would involve a whole lot of 10-gallon, but
10-gallon what?
I
I think he
had
means
to
a
go with
55-gallon drum.
So, are we done talking about RPG controversies?
Oh no, just welcome to the show. We'll get back to it eventually.
Well, the
Well,
reason I
probably
asked
not.
is because I can't stay too late.
Yeah, I was gonna
Fair.
say we've already been going for over 2 hours, so I'm thinking about
Yeah.
2.5 hours because I do need to try and mow the yard tomorrow if it's gonna be decent. Which means I actually need to try and get to sleep tonight and not, sometime around 8 or 9 in the morning.
Yeah,
Now that I
I'm
think of it,
okay
I gotta
about
check on
9:30, so
If you
So it's
don't mind, I'd kind of like to sign off here, but thanks
Sure.
for inviting me. Glad I could be in on at least some of this and got my microphone working.
No
it
problem.
was very nice to meet your video.
Yes. I feel like we've met before, or is it just that I've seen you on Rasclin's commercials?
That's me. Yeah, I'm on. I make Rasclins. I make commercials. I'm so pretty.
I was about to. Where's the I'm so pretty?
Well, if I can put in a plug, I do a radio show on the same station as Rasclin.
Okay.
Join me, and I never do the professional radio voice, so join me next Sunday night at 6 o'clock for more Celtic music. Go brah, here on WEFT Champaign.
Yep, and I think it's the same the same link as I've got up there for his.
Yes.
The new.wef.org.
www.weft.org/listen.
I always
Alrighty.
wonder why you spell that out, Ras. Alright.
Reflex. At this point, it's muscle memory.
Because new.weft.org/listen sounds weird.
I think the actual reason is they encourage us to say WEFT instead of WEFT, because WEFT Champagne is a legal ID and WEFT Champagne is not.
Yeah, but I mean, like the NEW, it's like just say new. Just say new.weft.org/listen.
It gets
My
him the
entire muscle
airtime,
memory
okay?
is
All right, well, nice to see you folks tonight, and I'll see you guys, or some of you, on Tuesday for Leverage.
Yep, sounds
Peace.
good.
Have a good night.
All right.
And let me get everything reorganized here again. All right, let's see.
So Olav, I suggest you pull an all-nighter and then go cut your lawn. And while you're cutting your lawn, you may fall asleep and make a wacky design in your
I think I'm going to pass on that.
Do you use push or tractor?
You remember
I
do you remember
use
that old
push.
there was an old show on TV called Art Attack. You could be the next Art Attack. Just
Yeah, he
make
could
weird
also be the
design.
next statistic of getting his leg caught in the blades.
Details.
So,
Zimmer, did you say art effect?
Huh?
Did you say art effect?
No, Attack. It
Oh,
was it was a show back I don't even know if it aired in America, but it was a show the host was British, and he did this weird. He would just do art out in the general public. He would just like. It was weird. He had a camera crew with him, and he would like. I know that one episode he was like somebody had paid him to mow their lawn, and so he went to mow their lawn, and he did like the entire Mona Lisa in their lawn, and it was just crazy.
No,
He's
see,
just-
when Americans want art, we go to Bob Ross.
Yeah. With happy little
Bob
smiles.
Ross was just so calm with his voice that he kind of just put me to sleep whenever I watched him when I was a kid.
That was the point.
You're not supposed to be paying attention to what he's painting. Just fall asleep to what he's painting.
Oh, that's great. Okay, is it
If you
joke time?
disappointed Bob Ross, Mr. Rogers, and Big Bird, you were considered the most fucked up person of all time.
It was just so weird to me. It'd be like, like, okay, so today we're gonna make some paintings, and I'm like, oh, okay, calm down. You're too excited.
Pace
Like-
yourself.
Pace yourself.
This tells me that you never saw an episode with his son Steve.
No, I haven't. Now I have to Google this. Anyway, what were you gonna say, Nightkind?
Is it joke time?
Sure, why not?
Oh.
If your sign off's a joke,
How come Princess Leia could never find her home? She
no.
was looking in all the wrong places.
Oh,
That's actually really good.
that hurt my
I
soul.
like that one.
All
That
right,
was
you guys.
fantastic.
Where am I? Hey, where's my mouse? Okay, well, I'm on the wrong place. All right, you guys. Don't do what I would do, and if you do, take pictures.
does that include dirty talking our mics?
Yes. All right. Good night, and hopefully I'll see you next week.
Take care. Have a good night.
And you as well. Thanks.
Thanks.
So I have a side thing to bring up.
Okay.
I got to be called a religious bigot today
What? Why?
because I said no, it is not acceptable to assault Salman Rushdie.
Okay.
So the person who assaulted him and permanently blinded him in one eye during a public reading of his work got sentenced today to 25 years. And there are, people with reasonable takes on this. And then there are the two complete, absolute batshit jobs of the people who want to kill all Muslims and the individuals who want to kill anyone who insults Islam. And the two have decided, rather than face each other, to attack anyone else who is in the sane areas. So I've been called both a shill for Islam and Islamophobic in the same chat area.
Well, you got range.
Apparently.
All right. Who wants to do who wants to be next for doing their outro? Gamers, what are you playing these days?
Nothing yet. I mean, so I just finished doing a stream not that long ago of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and just realized that I never picked up those books. So I picked up the upgrade books, but I never picked up those leaflets that unveil all this extra shit on the map.
Oh.
And so I was thinking, well, I did all the side content, blah blah blah, and then after streaming the game in its entirety, or so I thought, I was just playing the game one time, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'll pick up these leaflets, see what they do. I picked them up for the first time, and then it unveils like everything on the map, and I'm like, well, there we go. So I've missed like thousands of things. So, but yeah, no, I there's a game coming out first week of June, which I'm going to be streaming, called Mind's Eye. It's made by one of the brothers who was a creator of Grand Theft Auto, the original Grand Theft Auto games. What's his name? It's on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, so yeah, they left Rockstar after Red Dead Redemption 2, and are no longer associated with Rockstar Games.
Yeah.
So GTA 6 is not even Sam and Dan Houser. That's who I was thinking of. They're no longer associated with GTA 6 or any of the new stuff. They are now working with IO Interactive, the creators of the Hitman franchise, and they're making a open world cyberpunk meets Grand Theft Auto game called Mind's Eye, and it comes out June 10th. So I'm going to be streaming that.
Okay.
Yeah. But aside from that, yeah, that's about it.
All right. Caden, you want to go next?
Oh, let's see. Yes, join us in the den on Tuesday for more leverage, and then the next Tuesday after that, I'm pretty sure we're going to attempt D&D again, which may or may not be on Twitch. I will be doing a test sometime over this weekend or next week in order to figure out if Twitch will actually accept Streamlabs or not. If not, then I'll just work on my OBS and we'll do this shit on YouTube. Other than that, have a great week, have fun, and fucking sleep. Don't be like me.
All right, which just leaves Rasclin.
Tomorrow night, Over the Edge on community radio for Central Illinois, 90.1 FM, WEFT Champaign. Streaming online at new.weft.org/listen.
You only cut
That
out
was
a few
tomorrow
times.
night, Over the Edge.
All right. Well, I'm going to do my outro, guys. So, as always, thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time.
Absolutely. Have a good night.
All right. As always, thank you guys very much for watching. If you liked the video, don't forget to hit the like button. If you're new here, don't forget to press the subscribe button. If you want to be kept up to date of when we go live and stuff like that, make sure to ring the bell, but also check out the social media links down below. That's our Facebook page, our Twitter account, Tumblr account, Blue Sky account, and the permanent invite for our Discord server, where I try to make sure to notify you guys of when we go live and stuff like that. As far as tomorrow's live streams, I'm not sure if we're going to have an afternoon stream or not. Depends on how mowing goes. But I am planning on being back at 8 p.m. Central for more Mass Effect Andromeda. We're trying to find out who this mysterious benefactor is and what happened to the leader of the Andromeda initiative. All that so that you can stay tuned for more from ollamhproductions. Cheerio!